Jade Monroe stood at the edge of the grand ballroom, feeling completely out of place. Her borrowed navy dress felt tight around her shoulders, and her feet already ached in the cheap heels she had bought on sale last week. She was a freelance graphic designer who barely made rent, and here she was at one of the most exclusive business events in the city. Her friend Natalie from college had invited her as a +1, then disappeared into the crowd 20 minutes ago. The confident mistake she clutched her glass of sparkling water and tried to blend in with the elegant crowd. Everyone around her looked wealthy, polished, and completely comfortable in this world of crystal chandeliers and expensive perfume. Jade took a deep breath and reminded herself to act confident. Fake it until you make it, right? A tall man in an impeccably tailored black suit walked past her. He had dark hair, sharp features, and moved with quiet grace through the crowded room. The way he carried that silver tray made him look professional and experienced. "Excuse me," Jade called out, raising her hand slightly. "Could you get me a glass of champagne, please?" The unexpected response? The man stopped mid-stride. He turned around slowly, his deep brown eyes locking onto hers with an expression that was part surprise, part amusement. He stared at her for what felt like an eternity, as if she had just asked him to juggle flaming torches. Jade felt a flicker of uncertainty but pushed it down. She smiled brightly and added, "Make sure it's the good stuff, okay? Not the cheap kind." The corner of his mouth twitched. He looked like he was trying very hard not to laugh, or perhaps not to correct her. Instead, he simply nodded once and walked toward the bar. A charming exchange. Jade watched him go, admiring his confident posture. A few minutes later, he returned with a crystal flute filled with golden champagne. He handed it to her with a slight bow, his eyes dancing with barely concealed humor. "Your champagne, miss," he said in a smooth, deep voice that sent an unexpected shiver down her spine. "Thank you," Jade took the glass and grinned. "You know, you're pretty good at this. Most waiters look annoyed when people make requests, but you actually seem to enjoy it." He raised one dark eyebrow. "Do I absolutely? You have great customer service skills. If you ever want a career change, I bet you could work at any 5-star restaurant in the city." Playful banter, he crossed his arms, looking genuinely entertained now. "That's generous of you. I'm serious." Jade took a sip of the champagne. It was delicious, perfectly chilled and bubbly. "What's your name?" "Ryan," he answered simply. "Well, Ryan, you're definitely the most professional waiter I've met tonight. Do you work here often?" "You could say I have a regular presence here," he replied cryptically. Jade laughed. "Mysterious. I like it. I'm Jade, by the way. Graphic designer, struggling artist, and clearly someone who doesn't belong at fancy events like this." "I think you fit in just fine," Ryan said, his gaze warm and genuine. "The shocking truth, you're kind," Jade smiled. "But I'm pretty sure everyone here can tell I'm wearing a borrowed dress and discount shoes." "I didn't notice the shoes," Ryan said softly. "I noticed your confidence." Before Jade could respond, the lights in the ballroom dimmed dramatically. The background music faded, replaced by a voice booming through the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. We are honored to introduce the new CEO of Mitchell Global Enterprises, the youngest person to ever lead our company. Please welcome Ryan Mitchell." The moment of realization, Jade's champagne glass froze halfway to her lips. Her breath caught in her throat. Time seemed to stop completely. The man walking onto the stage, bathed in spotlight and applause, was him, the waiter. Except he was not a waiter at all. He was Ryan Mitchell, billionaire CEO, heir to one of the largest business empires in the country. Her face burned hot with embarrassment. She felt dizzy. The champagne suddenly tasted like regret. Ryan took the microphone with practiced ease and scanned the crowd. When his eyes found hers, he smiled. Not just any smile, but that same amused, knowing smile from moments ago. He looked directly at her as if they shared a private joke. Public humiliation, Jade wanted to disappear. She wanted the floor to open up and swallow her whole. She had just told a billionaire CEO that he would make a great restaurant waiter. She had critiqued his customer service skills. She had treated him like hired help. "Good evening, everyone." Ryan's voice filled the ballroom. "I want to thank the board of directors for their trust in me. I also want to thank every person who has contributed to making this company what it is today. from our executive team to every single employee who works hard every day." Jade was not listening to his speech. She was too busy planning her escape route. Where was Natalie? She needed to leave immediately. The escape plan, our future, will be built on innovation, integrity, and the courage to see people for who they truly are. Not just the roles we assume they play, Ryan continued, his eyes flickering back to Jade. Was he talking about her? Was that a message? Jade's heart pounded. As soon as the speech ended and applause erupted, she turned and headed straight for the exit. She needed air. She needed space. She needed to never see Ryan Mitchell again. The aftermath, she made it to the hotel lobby and leaned against a marble pillar. Closing her eyes, how could she have been so stupid? Of course, he was not a waiter. Everything about him screamed wealth and power. She had just been too nervous and distracted to notice. Her phone buzzed. A text from Natalie. "Where did you go? The CEO is gorgeous. Did you see him?" Jade typed back with shaking fingers. "Saw him. Leaving, talk tomorrow." She did not mention that she had personally served champagne by the CEO himself. That was a humiliation she would take to her grave. Jade spent the entire weekend replaying the gala disaster in her mind. Every time she remembered telling Ryan Mitchell he would make a great restaurant waiter, she buried her face in her pillow and groaned. By Monday morning, she had convinced herself that he had probably forgotten all about her. Billionaire CEOs met hundreds of people every day. She was just a random girl who made a silly mistake. She was sitting at her small desk in her tiny apartment, working on a logo design for a local bakery, when her phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello? Is this Jade Monroe?" A professional female voice asked. "Yes, speaking. This is Rebecca Chen from Mitchell Global Enterprises. Mr. Mitchell would like to schedule a meeting with you today at 2 o'clock. Are you available?" Jade nearly dropped her phone. "I'm sorry, what?" "Mr. Ryan Mitchell, our CEO. He would like to meet with you this afternoon. Can you come to our headquarters?" The mysterious invitation, Jade's mind raced. Why would Ryan Mitchell want to meet her? Was he going to tell her to never attend another corporate event? Was he angry about the waiter comment? Maybe he wanted to laugh at her in person. "Miss Monroe?" Rebecca's voice brought her back to reality. "Yes, I can be there," Jade heard herself say. "Wonderful. I'll send you the address and security clearance details. Please bring a portfolio of your work if possible." The call ended, leaving Jade staring at her phone in complete confusion. A portfolio? This sounded like a job interview, but that made no sense. The corporate tower at exactly 2 o'clock. Jade stood in front of the massive glass tower that housed Mitchell Global Enterprises. She wore her best black pants and a cream blouse, carrying a folder with printouts of her design work. Her hands were sweating. Security cleared her quickly, and soon she was riding an elevator to the 35th floor. The doors opened to reveal a sleek reception area with floor-to ceiling windows overlooking the city. Rebecca, a kind-looking woman in her 40s, greeted her warmly. "Miss Monroe, please follow me. Mr. Mitchell is expecting you." They walked down a quiet hallway and stopped at a large wooden door. Rebecca knocked twice and opened it. "Miss Jade Monroe, sir." Face to face, Ryan sat behind an enormous desk, looking even more handsome than Jade remembered. He wore a crisp white shirt with the sleeves rolled up, and when he looked up at her, that same amused smile appeared. "Jade, thank you for coming. Please, sit." Rebecca left quietly, closing the door behind her. Jade sat down, clutching her portfolio like a shield. "I owe you an apology," Jade blurted out before he could speak. "About the gala. I am so sorry. I had no idea who you were, and I should have been more careful." Ryan leaned back in his chair, looking relaxed. "Why should you apologize for being honest?" "Because I treated you like a waiter when you were the CEO of a billion-dollar company, as I let you," Ryan said calmly. "Because it was the first genuine conversation I had at that event. Everyone else spent the night trying to impress me or ask for favors. You just wanted champagne and good conversation." An unusual proposal. Jade blinked, unsure how to respond. Ryan opened a folder on his desk. I looked into your work over the weekend. Your designs are creative, fresh, and authentic. Exactly what our marketing department is missing. You researched me? Jade felt her cheeks warm. I wanted to know more about the woman who thought I needed career advice, he said with a slight grin. Jade, I would like to offer you a position as a creative consultant for Mitchell Global. You would work directly with my executive team on rebranding projects. Jade stared at him. Are you serious? Completely. 3-month trial period? If it works out, we make it permanent. If not, you return to freelancing with excellent experience on your resume and full compensation for your time. The difficult decision I don't understand, Jade said slowly. Why me? There are thousands of designers with more experience and better credentials. Ryan stood and walked to the window, hands in his pockets. Because you see things differently. At that gala, you did not see a CEO or a title. You saw a person. That is exactly the perspective I need on my team. Too many people around me only see what I represent, not who I am. Jade felt something shift in her chest. There was loneliness in his voice, a vulnerability he was trying to hide. Can I think about it? She asked quietly. Take until tomorrow. Ryan turned back to her. But Jade, I hope you say yes. First day as she said yes. How could she not? It was the opportunity of a lifetime. Her first day at Mitchell Global was overwhelming. The office was enormous, filled with serious-looking people in expensive suits. Jade felt like an imposter in her department store blazer. Ryan introduced her to the marketing team during a morning meeting. This is Jade Monroe, our new creative consultant. She will be working closely with us on upcoming campaigns. I expect everyone to make her feel welcome. Most people smiled politely, but Jade noticed a few cold stares, particularly from a woman named Victoria who sat at the head of the marketing table. Coffee and conversation later that week. Jade discovered a small coffee shop 2 blocks from the office. It became her escape during lunch breaks. On Thursday, she was sitting in a corner booth reviewing design mock-ups when someone slid into the seat across from her. Ryan, are you following me? She asked, half joking. I come here every Thursday, he said, ordering a black coffee from the passing waiter. It is the only place where people do not recognize me or want something from me. Jade understood that feeling now. In just 1 week at Mitchell Global, she had learned that people treated you differently when you were connected to power. Opening up, they talked for an hour. Not about work, but about real things. Ryan told her about growing up in his father's shadow, always expected to be perfect. Jade shared stories about struggling to pay rent and eating ramen for dinner most nights. Do you have someone waiting for you at home? Ryan asked suddenly, his tone casual, but his eyes focused. The question caught Jade off guard. Something in his gaze made her nervous, made her heart beat faster in a way that felt dangerous. Yes, she lied quickly. A boyfriend. We have been together for a while. She watched Ryan's expression change just for a moment. His smile dimmed slightly and he nodded. Lucky man, he said quietly. Jade immediately regretted the lie, but it was too late. She had built a wall between them, and maybe that was safer. Because the way Ryan looked at her made her feel things she had no business feeling for her boss. The growing distance, the rest of the afternoon felt different. Ryan was polite but distant. Professional but cold. Jade wondered if she had imagined the warmth between them, or if her lie had killed something before it could begin. That night. Lying in bed, Jade stared at the ceiling and wondered why she had lied. She knew the answer, though. She was scared. Scared of falling for someone so far out of her league? Scared of becoming another office romance statistic? Scared that what she felt was real and that it could hurt her, but the damage was done. And tomorrow, she would have to face Ryan and pretend that everything was fine. By the 3rd week, Jade could feel the change in the office atmosphere. People stopped talking when she walked by. Eyes followed her through the hallways. She heard fragments of conversations that made her stomach twist with anxiety. She barely has any experience. And suddenly, she is working directly with Ryan. I heard they had lunch together at that Italian place downtown. Some people know exactly how to climb the corporate ladder quickly. Victoria, from marketing, seemed to be the center of these whispers. She smiled at Jade in meetings, but her eyes were sharp and calculating. Jade tried to ignore it and focus on her work. But the judgment weighed on her like a heavy coat she could not take off. The coffee shop encounter Thursday arrived again, and Jade found herself back at the small coffee shop. She needed a break from the toxic office environment. She ordered her usual vanilla latte and sat in the back corner, trying to make herself invisible. 15 minutes later, Ryan walked in. Their eyes met across the room. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then Ryan walked directly to her table and sat down without asking. "We need to talk," he said quietly. Jade's heart jumped. "About what?" "About whatever is making you look so miserable at work lately." She wanted to tell him everything. About Victoria's cruel comments. About feeling like everyone thought she slept her way into her position. About the loneliness of being judged for something that was not even true. Honest confessions, instead, she said. "People talk, Ryan, about us. They think I got this job because of something other than my work." Ryan's jaw tightened. "I know, Rebecca told me about the rumors." "And what are you going to do about it?" Jade asked, hearing the frustration in her own voice. "I can fire Victoria for creating a hostile work environment." "No," Jade said quickly. "That would only make it worse. They would say, 'You are protecting me because we have something going on.' And do we?" Ryan asked, his brown eyes searching hers. The question hung in the air between them like a challenge. Jade felt her breath catch. "You have a boyfriend," Ryan continued, his voice flat. "So no, we do not have anything going on. But Jade, I want you to know that I offered you this job because you are talented. Not for any other reason." The breaking point Monday morning brought the storm Jade had been dreading. There was a company-wide meeting in the large conference room. All department heads were required to attend, and Ryan had asked Jade to join as well, to present the new brand concepts she had been developing. She sat near the front, her presentation folder in her lap, trying to calm her racing heart. Victoria sat 3 seats away, whispering to another manager. Ryan walked in, looking sharp in a charcoal suit. He started the meeting with updates on quarterly profits and upcoming projects. Everything was going smoothly until the end, when he opened the floor for comments and concerns. Victoria raised her hand immediately. "Yes, Victoria." Ryan acknowledged her. "The public attack. Thank you." "Mr. Mitchell, I know this might be uncomfortable, but I feel it needs to be addressed." Victoria stood up, commanding the room's attention. "There has been a lot of talk lately about professional boundaries and favoritism. Some employees feel that certain people are receiving opportunities not based on merit but on personal relationships." The room went silent. Jade felt every eye turn toward her. Her face burned hot with humiliation. "Can you be more specific?" Ryan asked, his voice dangerously calm. "We have a new consultant who was hired without going through the normal interview process. She works directly with you, has access to confidential projects, and from what I understand, you two spend quite a bit of time together outside the office." Jade wanted to stand up and defend herself, but her legs felt frozen. She could not breathe properly. Victoria continued, "I just think we need transparency. How can we trust that decisions are being made fairly when it appears that personal feelings are influencing professional choices?" Ryan's defense, Ryan stood up slowly. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. When he spoke, his voice was quiet, but filled with authority that made everyone lean forward to listen. "Victoria, I appreciate your concern for company integrity. So let me be completely transparent right now." He walked around the table until he stood beside Jade's chair. "Jade Monroe is the most talented designer I have encountered in 5 years. I hired her because when I reviewed her portfolio, I saw creativity, authenticity, and vision that our marketing department desperately needed. The fact that we met at a gala before I hired her is irrelevant to her qualifications." He paused, making eye contact with everyone in the room. "As for spending time together outside the office, yes, we have had lunch. We have had coffee. We have had conversations. Because that is what happens when you work closely with someone and respect their perspective. But let me be very clear about something. The truth," revealed Ryan's voice grew stronger. "If anyone in this room has a problem with how I run this company or who I choose to hire, you are welcome to take it up with the board of directors. But spreading rumors and creating a hostile work environment for a colleague is unacceptable. It stops today. He looked directly at Victoria. Do I make myself clear? Victoria's confident expression crumbled. She nodded quickly and sat down. Good, this meeting is adjourned. People filed out quickly, avoiding eye contact with both Jade and Ryan. When the room was finally empty, Jade stood on shaking legs. You did not have to do that, she said quietly. Yes, I did. Ryan turned to face her. Jade, I am tired of pretending. Pretending what? The confession that I do not care about you. That this is just professional. That I did not notice when you lied about having a boyfriend. Jade's eyes widened. You knew? Of course I knew. You are a terrible liar. Your voice gets higher, and you look away. Ryan stepped closer. The question is, why did you lie? Jade felt tears threatening. Because I was scared. You are Ryan Mitchell, billionaire CEO. I am just Jade Monroe, a girl who could barely afford rent 2 months ago. This does not make sense. We do not make sense. Maybe not on paper, Ryan said softly. But when have the best things in life ever made sense on paper? He reached out and gently took her hand. I do not care what people think. I do not care about the difference in our bank accounts. I care about the woman who treated me like a regular person when everyone else saw a title. I care about the designer who brings light into boring meetings. I care about you, Jade. Choosing love tears rolled down Jade's cheeks. I care about you too. I have been trying so hard not to, but I do. Ryan smiled, that same warm smile from the night they met. Then stop trying so hard. Let yourself feel it. People will still talk, Jade whispered. Let them talk. I will defend you every single time. I will stand by you in every meeting, every hallway, every moment someone tries to make you feel less than you are. Jade laughed through her tears. You really are terrible at being just a boss. And you are terrible at being just an employee, Ryan replied, pulling her closer. So maybe we should stop pretending to be something we are not. The new beginning, he kissed her then, soft and gentle like a promise. When they pulled apart, Jade felt lighter than she had in weeks. So what happens now? She asked. Can we do this the right way? I take you on a proper date. We figure this out together. And if anyone has a problem with it, they can discuss it with me directly. Jade smiled. A proper date? Does that mean you will finally admit you were following me to that coffee shop? Ryan laughed. Maybe I was. Or maybe you were in the right place at the right time. The night I thought you were a waiter. Exactly like that night. He squeezed her hand. Best mistake you ever made. Best mistake I ever made, Jade agreed. They walked out of the conference room together, hand in hand, ready to face whatever came next. Because sometimes the best love stories start with a misunderstanding, grow through challenges, and become something beautiful when two people choose each other despite what the world thinks. And Jade Monroe, the girl who once could not afford champagne, had found something far more valuable than money. She had found someone who saw her, truly saw her, and loved her anyway. The end.